I'm going to
Women are not
record.
aware enough.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm recording. This is too good not to record. This was supposed to be the interlude, but I think this is becoming the topic. So go ahead.
I'm sorry if, yeah, the
Mm-mm,
women are not strong enough. They think they're going against God. If they say no, they can't. And I don't want to look like I'm the troublemaker coming from California, telling
mhm,
them, don't do it. No, if you're going to do it, they should pay you guys. And they said, well, we're supposed to serve. You, honey, you have served. And
mhm,
one lady is my best friend, and I'm really trying to advocate for her because she's broke down. She's broken down, and they
mhm.
are constantly breaking her down. She's on her knees cleaning them floors, and I'm saying she's almost 70 years old. Get up off of your knees and stop it. It's
Mm.
ridiculous. It
Oh,
really is. That church has plenty of money, and they're gonna
mhm.
use these women like they're using them. And it upsets me. It really does. And it's very upsetting. But what do you do? How can I get them to see that this is not serving, it's serving God, but they're taking advantage of you.
Is it serving God? Is it really? That's the question. Is it really serving God, or is it serving
It's
is it
man,
serving a
man, man.
man that says that if you serve me this way, then you're serving God? It's kind of like
Correct.
in
Thank
slavery.
you.
You know
Thank
how
you.
in
Thank you for
slavery
that.
they said, a slave, God says for slaves to serve their masters. And when you're serving your master and you're doing it with your whole heart and your whole mind and all this, so you don't run, and you accept this as being the best thing that you've ever gotten, and knowing that when you die that you're going to go to heaven. And, they made all these promises of this grandeur and all that, yeah, yeah, you think you're serving God if you're serving this entity that has positioned himself between you and God, and you have to serve him like you're serving God. Yeah, if you say it that way. Yeah, Andrea, thank you for that, bringing that in. How do and Lena, how do we change that? Um,
Yes.
we begin to do the work that we need to do in ourselves that deal with um, inner intergenerational trauma. We begin to uh, open ourselves to new ways of experiencing life. We come out of one mindset and begin to um, experience and expand uh, our imagination. We begin to practice self love. We begin to understand our worth. It's somewhat of an uprising that the women have to do. And this brings me to this. I don't know if you guys have been, and this is so crazy. I don't know if you guys have been watching videos on FaceTime, Facebook, but I created a candle. I told you guys about my candle for Oshun. She would not light. Every other candle that I did the three great mothers, Oshun, Yamaya, and Oya. And Oya and Yamaya, they're beautiful. They're doing what they have to do. But Oshun would not light. Um, I did a new batch for her. She still did not light. And what I did is, because I know that Oshun is a very powerful Orisha. She is a woman. She is the epitome of the divine feminine. She is confident. She is beautiful. She is alluring. She's sensual. She's sexual. She's also strategic. She's a boss in any business endeavors that she has. She's a beast when it comes to working with and um, collaborating with others. She brings the sweetness to the earth. When you talk about Oshun, she's worth her weight in gold. She's all of that, right? And when I describe her that way, we think of these powerful women. We think of these women who are so awesome, right? And what we do is, because they're so powerful and they're so awesome, we assign them duties that we would not assign anyone else. We assign them to stretch so far and to fix everything and to be the first to respond and be the last to leave. we we uh, take that persona to heart because someone told us that that was being a good woman, and we're right back to the good woman, good girl syndrome that plagues almost every woman. And we're just going to talk about Black women, but I'm real. Every woman that you talk to, every woman has this in every culture. She's supposed to lay herself out. She's supposed to be a slut in the bed, but she's supposed to be an angel and a saint. Excuse me. To the world, she's supposed to um, represent her husband and her household with grace and beauty. She's supposed to be this. She's never supposed to do that. I mean, there's so many things that society has molded us to believe a good woman is. And if we do not meet that, we are less than. And then they go on to say that it is our duty to serve, and we should serve because when we serve and we sacrifice and we give everything, that's when we get our accolades. You don't get no accolades for just being here. You don't get your accolade. No, you got to get down on your knees. You got to be broke down with the sugar and the pressure and the gout and still going, and the first one to bring in this and do that. You see what I'm saying? This doesn't, it's not just in the church, it's everywhere. But the place that you should be safe and you should be honored is in a place that's supposed to protect you. The Black woman is the most unprotected person in the United, I'll say, on the planet.
On the planet. You said it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we are, and the more we ask for protection, the more they say, how dare you ask? Look at you asking. You always asking for, but they tell us to just do and shut up and do it. And that's why so many of us are stressed the hell out. Stress the hell out. As soon as we have this beautiful experience of becoming mothers, then inside of our head we hear, oh, this is what a good mother does. This is what you're supposed to do. If you don't do it like that, you're not a good mother. If you're not sacrificing your whole life and giving up 18 years of your life, then you're not a good mother. Your things that you want, they're no longer valid. You have to just put your life to the side, and it's like all of this stuff comes crashing in when you're a little girl. By the time you get 5, if you're not shutting up and sitting down and being seen and not heard and sitting with your legs closed and your dress down and smiling and looking pleasant, and if somebody asks you for a hug or a kiss, you better give it, because if you don't, you're sour and you're not sweet. And it's like, God damn.
The name shaming, that whole thing, I've always thought as women we were so unsupportive of each other. But now I see the more women support each other, we're changing and we're more stronger, we're more confident, we're reaching down deep,
Mm-hmm.
cleaning house, and standing up for who we've always been
Yes.
because of support of other sisters, other women, something that we never had, like spaces like this where we could just dig into it because we digging it today. I wish you
Yes.
guys could see my face. I'm all into it. I got a plate full.
Yes. But it's the truth. And you're right, Angel. Creating spaces such as this, and Drea, it goes back to what you were saying. What do we do? What do we do? We sit and we listen to the code of our elders because they were saying the same things. They were, believe it or not, as they were doing what they were doing on the outside, they were talking in code to each other on the inside. They were creating opportunities for those behind them to be stronger and to be more empowered. And I know sometimes when I look at generations after me and how they're raising their children, I have to check myself because I'm so indoctrinated with some things that I'm ready at some points to box them in. because it doesn't fit the mold that I'm used to. But I give thanks and I'm grateful that the Creator, Mother, Father, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, has given me clear eyes, has taken the scales off of my eyes, because I don't need to impose my limitations on the next generation, right? And that's healing and empowering 7 generations ahead of me. And one of my healing places is understanding that some of the things that were normal to me weren't so normal, and I don't have to pass those on to my kids. And I can allow myself to take my hands off and let them be, let them live their life, right? It gets hard sometimes because it looks so strange. It looks so strange. I mean, can you imagine 6 generations before us sitting in on this meeting right here? They'd be thinking that they had to put holy water and oil on all of us, right? Because it just would look so foreign to them for us to be moving in our power in this way. But oh, when they would talk alone to themselves, I'm sure. But they had different things to do to survive. And we're moving out of that space of surviving. Now we're thriving. Now we're calling on ourselves to live this life in abundance. It is our birthright to do, just like anybody else. Angel said something months ago that it stuck with me. It resonated with me. She said, when you see clear kids in a restaurant, they jumping all over the place. And she says, there goes the next astronaut. There goes the next judge. There goes the next lawyer. Because they're free. They're able to experience things, to touch things, to be things. Our kids, they're sitting there, they're well maintained. They're not out of place. They're not talking too loud. And we're saying, you can be anything you want to be, but you're going to sit here and you're going to be quiet and don't move. And we are an oxymoron. We give them what is it? We're a contradiction. You can be anything you want to be, but you got to do it this way because they'll kill you and those don't love you. And we give them all the reasons why they have to stay in a box. But we constantly telling them that the box is open and they can be whatever they want to be. Can I get an amen on that?
Ashe.
Amen on that.
Amen. Amen.
Ashe, Queen. Ashe. We
And
definitely hear you.
Ashe.
At
We
that.
definitely hear you on that. And it is just thank you so much for your words and everybody words, because it's that programming that was set in place with that slavery, and it goes back to the thing that it was a survival technique, that we had to have our children to be still, to be quiet, unless they were going to risk being murdered or beaten and brutalized. So it's just like, I got to have you in place. And so I think, like, moving out of that slave mentality, out of that racism, out of that box that we've been put in, and realizing that, thank goodness, the sacrifices of our ancestors, I think about that, like, how many people it took for me to be here. It was 2 people for me to be here. And then there was 4, 2 grandmothers, 2 grandfathers, and then there was 8, and then took 16 for me
Yes.
to be here, and then the number just keeps going. And it's like all these people that it took for me to be here. And oh my goodness, what they went through for me to be here. And so I can just, like, give thanks that I don't have to do these things that they had to sacrifice today. And my grandchildren, I mean, my daughter told me, because I would put a strap on their behinds. I'm telling you, at times with
Mm-hmm.
my children, I would, whoop them if
Mm-hmm.
they got out of pocket, because that's what I was raised to do, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And my daughter tells me, Mama, when I watch my grandbaby, we don't whoop her. We don't whoop her because we want her. My son-in-law said, Mama, I want her to know that it's never okay for a man to put hands on her. That's including me. And my daughter says, I don't put hands on her because I don't want her to think that it's ever okay for anybody to put hands on her. So, like, what a rejoicing. Like, we're getting to these places. I mean, we have a vice woman president in the White House. I mean, all this stuff is like unheard of. So when we say, what are we to do? What are we to do as women? We're doing it. And
Right.
that's what we need to keep holding on to. We're doing it. We
Yeah.
have these circles, we have these spaces, we have these conversations. We're moving. You know, it's not easy. It's never easy to bring upon a revolution. You know, um, the world is not going to be right until women are running,
Right.
and that's just the bottom line, right?
Right.
But
Right.
we are doing it. Just our mere conversation of it, you know, is opening up the possibilities. Because if you can't speak it, you can't be it,
Come on. Come
So
on.
I think just the mere conversation, and I'll just say this too. There was a woman that was sitting on the corner, and this was some years ago, and I'm presuming she was homeless, out there, um, close by the grocery store. And I asked her, I says, if you can have anything in the world, what would it be? She said, a bottle of orange juice. And I said,
Mm.
thinking like maybe she misheard me. And,
Wow.
so I asked her again. I said, Queen, and I addressed her as Queen. I said, if you could have anything in the entire world, what would it be? She got an attitude with me. She said, I said a bottle of orange juice. And I said, okay. I went in the grocery store. I bought her a bottle of orange juice. When I came out, I gave it to her. But that was as far
Mm-hmm.
as her mind could think,
Mm-hmm.
was a bottle of orange juice.
Yes.
So So, so our minds is so powerful. These conversations bring into. Don't you think that you don't speak your things into existence?
Mm-hmm.
Don't think that we don't speak our lives into existence. Don't think we don't speak situations into existence. So the mere
Yes.
fact that we're having this conversation is we are speaking it into existence. And to me, these are the prayers of our ancestors, you know,
Yes.
because there's nothing minute in a prayer. Prayer is so powerful.
It is
So
very powerful.
so I'm just saying, like, Ashe for these rooms.
Yes.
Thank you, Queen Adeshina, for the space. Thank you to all the queens that's on the line and this conversation. And yeah,
Yes.
it's happening as we speak it.
Mm-hmm. It
You
is.
know?
It
Yeah.
is. Ashe. And we are speaking life into each other because this conversation is resonating in each and every one of us today. And each and every one of us are in different cycles of our life. We have new mothers, we have mothers of grown people, we have mothers of teens, we have grandmothers, we have great grandmothers, we have sisters, we have um, aunties. I mean, we are representing every woman. And
Yeah.
that's the beauty of what I was going to say about Mama Oshun. Mama Oshun is the epitome of that song. I'm every woman, right?
Mm.
But the thing about that is just because I can does not mean that I have to. And that's what I want us to understand. If we don't take anything away from today, just because I'm capable and I'm able, I'm phenomenal, I'm magical, I'm powerful, I'm all that, doesn't mean that you get to exploit that and make me responsible and accountable for everything that you need me to be.
And so,
All right. And I want us to really look at that, because we've been living as showing our love as sacrifice. That's not love. My love for you should not hurt me. My love for you should not take away from me. Yes, we want to give, and we want to love, but it shouldn't have to be validated on how much we give. You know, how many stories do we hear of Mother Jenkins in the church who died, and the first thing they say, oh, she would give anything. She would give you the shirt off her back. She would come here before the sun rose and start the fire at the church, and then she would go home and she would plow the yard, and then she would slop the pigs, and she would have breakfast on the table and biscuits that we love. When did she ever sleep? When did anybody ever come to her and say, Mama, what do you need? And I'm not talking about giving her a little, getting her nails done. That, what about her mind? What about her heart? Did anybody, say, Mama, you need to come back to center? She was all over the place. She was caught up. And her only relief was to go on Sunday and scream it out to Jesus. That was her relief. And then in that, people said, oh, she's a wonderful Christian woman. Look at her. Nobody dealt with her pain. Nobody dealt with her trauma. Nobody dealt with any insecurities that she may have. Nobody dealt with her fear. None of that.
Okay.
yes.
We have to redefine for ourselves, because ain't nobody going to do it for us. Why would I ask you to create boundaries on me? Who's going to do that?
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice, if you have some people, they'll be like, girl, you better not let nobody do this to you. But then when you turn around and say, okay, sis, you can't, what? Well, we was always like that. Or your dude, or what you mean? You're not going to have dinner on the table by 6. What you mean? You want to go to school. You can go to school, but you still better have my dinner. You can do whatever you want to do, but you still better have this and do this and do that and do this. You don't get to release nothing. So how do we change that? We stop. We begin to value ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We begin to create possibilities of a life that is open and honest. We become very transparent. We use our words in love to create an environment of balance for ourselves. We don't have to be bitter to say no. We don't have to be unkind to take time for ourselves. We're going to do all this in love, right? And that was what was so amazing about the Orisha Oshun, because she was the epitome of sweetness. She was going to do what she needed to do for herself, but she wasn't doing it in spite of. She was doing it because that's what she chose to do.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference when you say, well, I'm going to do this and I don't care what nobody say, because this is what I'm going to do. And, today I'm deciding that I'm going to take my time and I'm going to rest. There's a whole different energy about that. Because when the forces come at you, questioning you, you don't get caught up in because I want to. It's, this is where I am today. This is what I'm doing today. And that takes practice. We didn't become stressed out, wound tight, trying to fix everything overnight. It was a series of experiences and places that we felt threatened, and all types of stuff that went on that created the mindset that we move in today. And so it's going to take time of loving ourselves, of transmuting that energy into supportive energy, of using all the tools that we've been gathering in our bags, of understanding how valuable and beautifully, wonderfully we're made. If we don't do anything else, it doesn't diminish our value. And we're speaking from women today, but I'm 100% sure that men have their own series and sect of ideas that need to be abolished so that they can stand completely effaced in their authenticity and in their truth as well. So we're dealing on it from a woman's side, but this is really a human condition. It's a human condition. But to tie everything back into what we were talking about because this has been great. Thank you, Lena, for starting off the conversation that way. And I don't know if you guys saw the invitation this morning, but let me see. Let me go back to it. I'm going to share this really quick. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I am ready for what's next. We just got a whole boatload of information that has been given to us not by chance, but it's pricking our hearts to go in and begin to say, what's next? What's next for me? How am I going to create the next level of me, the next steps for me? I have the ability to create a space. And in that space, it's full of possibilities. There's actually nothing in that space, which is so awesome. It's empty. There's nothing there. And if there's nothing there, then I can control what goes there. And I can create and imagine all the possibilities that support the life that I desire and deserve in that space. Now, that space has no room for anything that I know or that I formerly knew, because I'm creating something out of nothing. And that's what creating is. When you create something out of nothing. When you make something out of things that have already been made. Does that make sense? The creator creates out of nothing. The maker makes things out of things that were formerly something else. And so we're not making a new life. We're creating a new life. Ashe?
Ashe.
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 All right. So I'm going to read this last thing about Oshun because I want us to have something that we can reference. It says, Oshun rules over rivers, love, romance, gold, pregnancy, witchcraft, healing, weight loss, love, fertility, relationship, and love, or wishing spells. When individuals have writer's block, Oshun is an excellent loa to petition. She is also the Orisha who we go to for money matters. She is the youngest of the female Orishas, but maintains the honor of great queen. Oshun heals with her sweet water and honey, infused with her spiritual power. They say Oshun saved the world, seducing Ogun and tempting him back into the woods. Oshun is the messenger from Olodumare. For this purpose, no matter what Orisha governs their head, all who are admitted as priests have to go to the river and give a statement to Oshun. And I know that could be a little cryptic to some, but basically what it's saying is that Oshun energy is that feminine divine. That is what in the Bible it says women are cunning. And when I used to think of the word cunning, it used to be a very negative connotation for me. I felt like that said that women were sneaky and they were not truthful and they were sly and a little, devilish. But growing older, I understand that cunning means that they are strategic, that they are very powerful in analyzing situations, that they use their mind over their brawn. They're clear about their vision. So again, growing up under mindsets and how words are used and how energy is used dictated how I saw myself. And I give thanks again for that being lifted and that there's healing and that there's clarity in my lineage. And it starts here with me. Ashe, I'm not the only one, but I'm doing my part. So we are cunning women. We are sweet women. We are valuable. We're thinkers. We're just volumes of knowledge. We're creative. We're keepers of wisdom and information. We're grounded to the earth. We are connected by the crown of our heads to the Most High. We are all those things, and I want us to let that set in and resonate who we are and whose we are. And it doesn't matter what the outside world says. It's what's on the inside. And that was poured into us, just like that little baby was born yesterday. When that baby came into the world, it was in a new casing, but the soul, the spirit of that baby was old. It was ancient, and it was poured into that baby on an assignment to live as this child. And it was something to see. And it came through a woman who had one foot here and one foot there, who was an open portal. The power of that, the fluids, everything. I look at it now at 56. If you would have told me to look at something like that when I had my first kid, I would have said, no way in hell. But to look at this event that was occurring right in front of my eyes, I felt like I knew I was in the presence of the omnipotent force of life. And it was so much ease. And it was so much ease. And I was welcome. And I was grateful. So with that being said, if there's anyone who wants to make any last comments.
I have a comment. It's 8:30. I was having such a good time this morning.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I wish we had another hour. But I want to say, I think women are showing up like we're showing up because we're doing the work. We've done work and we're showing up differently. We're speaking out. We're more clear and concise in what we're saying. we're bringing our points sooner than later,
Mhm.
and we're responding like we're emotional. So when we talk, you can hear our emotions. But sometimes when you bring your emotions into what you're saying, people stop listening. So we're able to um say what we want to say without those emotions, and we supporting each other,
Mhm.
and I love that.
Ashe. Thank you.
Ashe. Ashe.
Is there anyone else who wants to come in and say anything before we close out with prayer?
Yes, as I start this women's Bible study, uh, sisters, please keep me in your prayers because I do want to be able to be a light and inspire, encourage, but be truthful. And sometimes I'm afraid because I know the Southern attitudes or the attitudes of men. You know, and it used to be that women couldn't teach men, and some men still have that attitude. So keep me in your prayers, please. And thank you. This has been a wonderful session, just very inspiring and uplifting and encouraging. So, Ashe, and thank you very much, Adashina.
Ashe. Ashe. Anyone else want to come in?
Hey.
We are the same age, Queen.
Ashe.
It's a
All
good
right.
age. It's a good
It is. It is.
age.
It's a great age, and sometimes I wish I could go back, and I know I can't. So I will be next year turning 70. So I have to be grateful for going
Ashe.
into a new decade of my life and not looking to the back, looking in the past and
Yes.
continue moving forward.
Ashe.
Yes,
And
sir.
into
Ashe.
those
Ashe.
new possibilities. Yes. All right.
I, I would just like to say I am just so elated and just thanking the Lord for this opportunity to be in a group with support because I say that from my experience, women were not supported. But it's so great. I'm so grateful to be in this group of supporting sisters around the circle. And I just thank the Lord. I'm 75 years young, and I just thank God for every day of my life. And every day when I wake up, I say it's a celebration because
Ashe.
so many laid down last night, but I was one of the ones who got up this morning.
Come
And I
on.
say,
Ashe.
hallelujah. Thank you, Lord
Yes.
God. Thank you,
Ashe.
Jesus. Thank you for my sisters. I just praise and thank the Lord. Thank you for this opportunity and for this space. Thank
Ashe.
you, Lord.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. And on that, I'll say give thanks. Give thanks for another opportunity to sit around the spiritual fire, y'all. This morning it was hot, and I give thanks to the ancestors who sat with us and were overjoyed at the power that is coming down their lineage, that is coming through us and empowering generations behind us. I thank God for the women who are in their 30s and their 20s and their 40s that are on this call, who are being empowered and are being set free from some of our epiphanies that we're having as older women. And I just love, again, the support around the circle, that we're able to come here and speak our truth, that we're able to be unique in our own right. How we plug into source is truly individual, uh, an individualized experience, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for all the ways that each one of us are present in our lives, with our families, with ourselves, with our friends, on our jobs, how we are navigating this life and finding ease as we continue to grow in ourselves, as we begin to release the reins. I give thanks um, for letting ourselves off the hook, right? For putting down some of those irons that we have in the fire and giving ourselves rest, for allowing our bodies to heal, for allowing our minds to come back to center and come back to ourselves, and to heal in those places where there's fractions and they've just been um, just shredded with worry or guilt or shame or pain, just feelings of not being enough, self-doubt. The bar just that continues to rise, and we just continue to try and give and give and give, and just giving us that sense of release in this space, to just breathe, to just take in spirit into our body and allow ourselves to be filled up with love and light and joy, peace, surrendering ourselves to the knowing of who we are and our value and our worth. I say all those things in love and light. And we say Ashe,
Ashe.
Ashe,
Ashe.
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 yes,
Ashe.
Ashe. All right, ladies, I'm going to turn off the recording.